start with Kyle. All right, here we are in ninth grade lit. We're gonna go over the vocabulary, start with Lilani. Lilani, this is really important. We only do it like 3 times a quarter. This is the one of maybe 3 times this quarter, so it may take 15 minutes or so, but it's worth it because we discover where you got it wrong. The last quiz, there's several people who didn't, I use vex as a noun. A vex isn't a thing, it's a verb. It's not a thing, it's not a person, it's not a place, so it's not a noun. You can't, I had a vex, somebody gave me a vex, that's, you can't do it. You have to say, he vexed me by annoying me so much. So you have to use it as proper part of speech, so that's where we catch this, if you'll pay attention. So Lilani, would you start for us with Gordon?
It's a reward or recompense.
Which is the same thing, payback. But yeah, you're right.
How do you say it?
Gordon?
He yearns for his captures more than they can imagine.
Good, good. All right, so we'll just keep moving. That's a pretty clear cut one there. Hardy?
I put snobbish or scornfully arrogant. And then my sentence is, the haughty person was annoying to everyone else.
So it involves that kind of looking down on you. What would we call, what's the word for that? What's another word for that? You wouldn't use haughty, but what would you, what?
Arrogance.
That's a good word. It's a sort of a synonym for arrogant. All right, so did you use it in a sentence?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go to Luke. Resolute.
Firm in purpose or belief. When someone is in a debate, they are acting resolutely because they are trying to persuade or educate someone on something.
Good, and it isn't an adjective, so you're acting in a resolute way, or resolutely. You remember the National Treasure movies? You remember the one where they go into the White House and they have to find a desk in the Oval Office or someplace? The name of the desk was the Resolute Desk, and it had nothing to do so much with the word, but it was a desk made of the timber of a British ship called the Resolute. I think it was a British ship, and so it's a real thing. But that's a name, so that doesn't work here. It needs to be used as an adjective. Carter, Halber.
A full-length mail coat, and I put the mannequin of the night wore a heavy hauberk.
Yeah, very good. Remember, we saw a picture, it goes all the way down to the ankles. It covers you, it's made of mail. Or the Bernie, which is the leather version of the same thing. Churl, Sarah.
A rude person.
Yes. Some people said it's like a country person, a peasant. That's also true, but I like what Sarah said because it's usually used as an insult. You're a dishonest, rude person, you're a churl. How'd you use it?
Let me do it better, said the churl.
Churl. Say it again.
Let me do it better, said the churl.
Is that because he's being rude or something?
Yeah.
Okay, just make that clear.
I guess that, could it also be like an impolite or mean-spirited person?
Well, that's what we're saying. What was your definition?
A rude person.
Yeah, same thing, impolite, mean. All right, so upbraid, Lily.
What?
Upbraid,
Oh, I have tempest.
or it's the word right before that. So we'll come back to you if. Well, Charlotte, why don't you do upbraid and she can do tempest?
Okay, find fault with someone or like scold.
Severely, it's a strong word. If you upbraid somebody, it's really strong. You're really letting them have it. Senna?
He was upgraded for his slovenly appearance.
Yeah. All right, tempest, Lily.
A violent windstorm, especially when rain, hail, or snow.
Yes, the whole works.
Much of the nation has been caught up in a tempest that resembled one of the dinner table scenes in August.
Oh. And it can mean like a quarrel, that tempest. It doesn't have to be literal snow, rain, and hail. It could be like just a big argument, a big fight of some kind. Mirth, Libby.
A sense of joyfulness, especially when accompanied laughter.
Good.
And then the second voice, his voice is quiet, melodic, and often tinged with another term.
All right, and notice it's also a noun. You can't mirth somebody, or he didn't mirth. It has to be a noun. Tempest is a noun. Upbraid is a verb. How about heretic? Dan.
A person believing in or practicing religious heresy.
Yes, but we gotta define heresy, so that would be incorrect so far because you've gotta define what heresy is. So what is heresy?
Like false statement.
False teaching, a false belief, right? It's any belief or teaching that contradicts the accepted, established belief. So you could be, if you were a Democrat and you claimed you liked, I don't know, what, you know, something that, like capitalism, if you were, that might be heresy. You'd be a heretic. If you were a Republican and said you liked socialism, that would be heresy. You would be a heretic. All right, so, did you use that sentence?
I did. He was declared a heretic and burnt on July 6th, 1451.
Who was that?
I'm not sure. It was just a sentence I got.
Sound like a real person?
Yeah. St. Patrick, maybe.
St. Patrick? I didn't know he was a martyr. Prudence, Leroy, you don't have them with you, but Shonda, prudence.
The ability to govern and discipline, or what is
Discipline?
it? Discipline oneself by the use of reason.
Yeah, don't leave out the reason part. You could be disciplined without being prudent. So it is with wisdom, caution would be, and it is a noun, so how did you use it?
He always exercises prudence with his finances.
That's a good context for it. Taylor, ear.
Before, it's like a prepositional, preposition.
Yeah, it's real simple. Any place you would use the word before, you could replace with ear, except don't. Because ear is an old word, and you would sound foolish if you said that or wrote that. It's good to know what it means, and if you were writing in the context of like the Middle Ages or something, you could use it. Writing poetry, you know, that would work. Yeah, Charlie.
So would it just be before, because I got before in time?
Well, that's the idea. Like Carter is not, she came before Luke, but it's in because she's ahead of Luke, as opposed to she came today and Luke came yesterday. She's still ahead of him, but it refers to time rather than like space or degree. All right, so we go to Ben.
Vespers.
Yeah,
A service of evening prayer.
that's it. Evening prayer. It's a service. Yeah. Santa?
Why are you laughing?
What?
I was asking Sean, I was like laughing at me.
He admires you.
Yeah.
That's how he shows.
Every evening we do daily vespers at our church.
I mean, people don't really do those anymore. It was a great tradition, but it's kind of old fashioned. It's great. Prayer is never old fashioned. How about wine, Roland?
Simply?
Yeah, it's particularly, it's the color, like the pale color of somebody who's, you know, maybe sick. What? Pale, that's all. All right, so would you define it? I mean, write a sentence.
Well, mine wasn't really, but, she gave a long laugh.
Yeah, it's more like his wan complexion made everybody realize he was getting sick. That would be kind of what it is. One is the color of the moon. It's that's sort of associated with that pale light. How about recreant? Sorry.
A coward or traitor.
Right.
And I put, in my sentence, the recreant was hated by the Romans after he betrayed them.
Good. I like the addition of traitor because a traitor would be a recreant too. Yeah.
What I saw was that it just said cowardly.
It's a cowardly person, so it's not an adverb. It's a noun. So a recreant would be a cowardly person. I think that it's not an adjective.
I saw two definitions, there's an adjective and.
Then it is an adjective. But we use it as a noun, so if you use it as an adjective, you can, but you still gotta use it correctly.
Wait, what's the sentence?
Well, his sentence was with a noun. Would you do it again?
The recreant was hated by the Romans after he betrayed them.
So if it's an adjective, you could say recreant behavior made him disliked by everybody. So benison Luke.
An utterance of good wishes.
All right, a benediction is another synonym for it.
I got blessing.
Yeah, blessing's another one.
My sense is a kind person wished pension on you while he is walking away and saying goodbye.
All right, so your pastor, after the service is over, right before he lets everybody go, he says, "May God bless you and keep you, may make his face shine upon you and give you peace." And that's an example of a benediction or a benison. Carter, swoon.
To faint from extreme emotion. He pretends to fall into a faint and says senseless things that should have ruined him.
Good. It's more than, like you faint because you got 106-degree temperature and you're sick. It's more like you said, you heard some bad news and it's just more than you can handle. You fainted. And it is a verb. Don't forget. Debonair, Sarah.
Courteous, gracious.
Yes. Suave, urbane, suave, urbane, sophisticated.
The debonair helped the organization by donating a large sum of money.
All right, it is an adjective, so it cannot stand alone as a noun. So you could say the debonair.
Businessman.
And what was your definition?
Courteous, gracious.
Yeah, this is what I want you to think. Think of James Bond. He wears the suit, the tuxedo, he goes to the party. That's sort of the idea of debonair. It's sophisticated, it's suave, that's what suave means. Urbane means very, like,
John Wick.
metropolitan. I've seen some of the movies, but I think
John Wick is better.
James Bond is probably more. Did you have a question?
Yeah, I got, like, confident, stylish, charming.
Right, that describes James Bond. Those things. Debonair. It's an adjective. Comely, Lily.
Pleasing in appearance, attractive, and fair.
Yes. Sarah?
Our biggest network comedy stars almost all have a comely face.
Good. I think of it in terms of like beauty, of physical, like probably female, it would probably apply more to a woman than a man. Yeah.
Yeah, I got pleasant to look at, usually used
Okay.
in reference to a female.
And it is an adjective. Even though it has ly on the end of it, it's not an adverb. Charlotte, reproach.
Address someone in such a way as to express disapproval or disappointment.
Yeah. It's a verb.
That isn't true. He
Yes.
reproached her.
Good, you're correcting somebody. I think it's less severe than a upbraiding. Upbraiding is really severe. You're letting somebody have it. Reproach is a lot more narrow and less intense. It might be, I think it could be used as a noun. A reproach as well as to reproach. Libby, Dolores.
Full of expressing or causing pain or sorrow.
Yes. Key there is, I think, sorrow and pain. So how did you use it?
Obama himself shows the dolorous dangers of an unalienable ideology.
I'm sorry, I just couldn't hear you.
Abolishes without the Dolores stages of unalloyed ideology.
Dolores again means sad, or what was the other word? I forget the other part of your definition, sad or painful. Yeah, sorry. Painful, dolorous, sentinel. Okay.
A soldier or guard whose job is to stand or keep watch.
Good.
The ice lady at the park side, sentinel went bonkers.
It does have it has sort of a military, use also. I think of it as a military guard instead of a security guard. You know, it's more of a sentinel. It is a noun. How about sojourn, Sean?
A temporary stay.
Yes.
On a recent sojourn in Sicily, frequently found myself remembering that page in the children's encyclopedia.
It is not a noun. A sojourner is someone, I don't think it's a noun. Did you have it as, anybody found it as a noun?
There's two definitions.
What is yours?
I had to stay somewhere temporarily.
That's what I had.
And
Yeah,
then
that's,
there was another one that was a temporary stay.
okay, so it could be a noun, a sojourn. I guess you're right. So it can be a noun or verb, but it's not permanent, yes.
So a temporary stay is correct.
Yes, so that's a noun though, as opposed to verb, it means to sojourn somewhere.
And I can use that.
Yes, if you're a Christian, you are a sojourner on earth. You don't, this is not your permanent residence. We have a higher residence, we're citizens of heaven,
Wait, so do we use the noun or the?
either one. As long as it's correct, I don't care. Obsequious, Taylor.
Attentive, the servers were obsequious to make sure everyone had water.
Yeah, so it's, what was the word, the definition here?
Attentive,
Yeah, it can be, I think you need to add this, extreme obedience or extreme service, it's almost, you wouldn't want an obsequious waiter. It'd be too much, just going over the top, can I polish your shoes, can I, whatever, something ridiculous. So it usually, to me, it doesn't have a good connotation. I think the definition would make it more of a negative thing. And finally, prostrate.
Lying down, stretched out, usually face down.
Yeah, sentence?
He was prostrated on the ground after being punched in the face.
All right, so you're face down. What's a word that would describe being on your back, face up? Think Patrick Henry.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of, supinely.
Supinely, very good. I think that's one of our words too this year. All right, so good job, yes.
What's the sentence for obsequious?
Well, she mentioned obsequious waiter. What was your definition? Sentence?
the servers were obsequious to make sure everyone had water.
Yeah. So I just suggested it's a little stronger, it's usually somebody obsequious, he took care of every need. That's what you were suggesting. It's almost too much. Yeah, Ben.
How do you say that?
Yes, go ahead and get your book out. We have 20 minutes. We'll read a little bit in the book. We're on page 103, number 105.
We're on question 38, right?
What's that?
We're on question 38.
38, 37, 38, yeah. We haven't done 38 yet.
I know. Boring.
Wait, was that from yesterday?
I think it was. All right, we're on number 105. The battle started out kind of one-on-one, and which they, the tiers were matched up against the Spanish tiers, and now it's become a melee, which is that word on the board. It's just everybody fighting whoever is in front of you. And so we're gonna start on 105, the county Roland, and we will we'll answer question 38, I believe, is the one we're on next. So far, how's the battle gone? Who's winning? The French are winning. But we know that can't last because we know how it ends, because they told us basically how it ends. The county Roland, throughout the field goes riding. With Durandal, good sword, he stabs and slices. The toll he takes of Saracens is frightful. Would you have seen him, dead man on dead man piling, seen the bright blood about his pathway lying, bloody his hauberk, and both his arms with fighting, his good horse bloody from crest to withers likewise. Oliver too doth cease from striking, doth never cease from striking, and the 12 peers are not a whit behind him. And all the French are hammering and smiting, the Paynims fall, some dead, others dying. Quoth the Archbishop, right blessed be our knighthood, shouts joy, war cry of Charles the Mighty. So things are going pretty well, and so Lonnie, would you start with 106?
And Oliver their burden to the press. The spear is broken, only the shaft is left. Against a kingdom, Roland he rides a smashes the shield with flowers and gold thread.
Be dead.
Both of his eyes he smites out of his head, so that his wings around his feet are spread. A flame supports amid 700 dead. Terribly he slain,
Esther got.
Esther got next. Till to the grips the spear shaft splits in shreds. Roland cries out, "What are you doing, sire? I'll give no fair square for sticks and such a set. Here I am availed, and still I'm nothing else. Where is your sword that
Hardeclaire.
Hardeclaire is
Eclat.
with his gold hilt and Hamilton's gold sword. I've had no time to draw Oliver said. I've been so busy with striking right and left."
You notice the gory details? Both his eyes he smites out of his head, so his brains are around his feet. There are 700 dead around him. I point that out because people in the Middle Ages were just like people today. If you were driving down the road and you see an automobile accident, what are you gonna do? You're gonna slow down, you're gonna look. There's something about other people's problems that draw our attention. And that's why we go to movies, read books. We like to see other people dealing with problems. Well, the Middle Ages were the same. They like the gore, I guess. They are attracted. It's just in us, human nature. The circle of Hardeclaire. That is the sword of Oliver. Hardeclaire is 4 lines from the bottom, and what Lonnie just read. It means high bright. Hardeclaire. High bright.
It's Oliver's sword.
It is Oliver's sword, yeah. What is Roland's sword's name?
Dindador.
What?
Dindador.
Durandal?
Durandal.
That Durandal means enduring. So why don't we start with Ben, number 107. Oh, I'm sorry, we're over here. We'll go to Soho.
I mean, I can read.
I know, we'll get to it. I'll work that way so you can.
Dan Oliver has drawn his goodly bray, as his friend Roland so urgently demands. Now will he prove him a stout knight of his hand. He smites a Paynim, Justin about Barrett, clean to the middle the skull of him he cracks. The Sabron burned Jeremy splits in his breast and back, and saddle brave with sins and golden bands. And through the spine the horses in sunder hacks, and dead on field flings all the flat. I'll call you brother, quoth Roland after that.
it sound, I need to look up the word sunder, but I always thought the word sunder, you cut something in sunder, is like through. So just, if that's what he means, think of what he did with a sword, he cuts up a horse in half. I would say that's absurd, but it's his epic literature, that's part of the attraction of it. So we'll go to, let's go to, wanna go that way? Yeah, you can do it. Hey, Deer in the Count.
108?
Yeah, 108.
Okay. Deer in the Count bestrides his steed sorrow. Guerrier his comrade on that where past graph is set. Eagerly both lose rein and spur ahead, and go to strike a Paynim to Mosul. One on the shield, the other on the chest. Both spears at once are broken in his breast. Flat in the fallow straightway, they flank him dead. I do not know, I never have heard tell. Which of the two was the more swift in snow? And Inglir, the knight of Bordeaux, who next slew Esparver. That son was Suburl. Archbishop Turpin has overthrown Sigorl, the sorcerer who'd once been down to hell. With Jupiter for guide by magic spells, quoth Turpin, then earmarked was he for death. Roland replies, the troll has made an end. Oliver, brother, such strokes delight me well.
Notice the supernatural. You have a sorcerer fighting for the Muslims who's been down to hell, like Aeneas or Odysseus. Yeah.
At the end of like every Lassie, or I don't know how to say it.
Yeah.
What does it sound like AOI?
You probably weren't here when we introduced it. We don't know. Literally, we don't know what it means. It's sort of arbitrary. It's not after everyone. It comes after. It just doesn't seem to be any pattern. So. Good question. So why don't we go to Luke?
Fiercer, and still more fierce the battle grows. Both French and Paynim deal wondrous heavy strokes. Some in attacking and some in parrying blows. How many spears are blooded there and broke? What gonfalons were, what banners ran and strung? How many French in flower and youth lay low? Whom wives and mothers shall never be more behold, nor those of France who wave them on the road. King Charlemagne must wept and wail for woe. What helps in that he cannot save his folk? Did count
Ill.
ill did count usurp Carlo he rode to Saragossa, and all his people sold. Thereby he lost life and limbs of his own. When at Aix, after they judged him to the rope, and all his kin 30 who were hanged also, who ne'er had thought such death should be by their dole.
All right, look at question 38. What will happen to Ganelon? We have a hint of that right here. Yeah, Daniel.
Him and 30 of his kinsmen will be hanged.
He will die. It says he'll be hanged, but he also loses limbs. I'll let you wait till the end of this book to see what that is. Besides the men on the battlefield, the soldiers that die, it alludes to who else suffers from a battle, not just the soldiers who die.
The king.
Yeah, he will. Who else?
Oh, the wives.
The wives and children and girlfriends and daughters and grandmothers and moms, all those people suffer too when their son or their husband or their father dies. Notice the beginning of 109 and 110 are both examples of reposha. So you might just see that. Fierce reposha at the beginning of 109 and 110.
What is that?
Oh, it's remember, repetition of phrases or sentences like fiercer and still more fierce the battle grows, fierce is the battle and wondrous grim the fight, so almost the exact same word. The chorus, 110.
there's not a house, but the walls crack and rise. Right at high noon, a darkness falls like night. Save the lightning, there's not a gleam of light. None that beholds is dismayed for flight. And many say this is the latter time. The world is ending, and the great doom is nigh. They speak not true, they cannot read the signs. 'Tis Roland's death calls forth his mighty cry.
Okay, thank you. Look at number 39. It appears there's a strange tempests, rain, hail, lightning, thunder, while the battle is going on. I think this is probably also symbolic. Why do you think, it's number 39. What might this be symbolic of? Yeah.
Is it symbolic of how much damage the war is doing to like the world?
Yeah, but in the story, what might it be symbolic, Sarah?
Roland's death?
Yeah, do you remember what happened when Jesus died on the cross? What happened around him? Yes.
It was a really big storm.
No. There was a eclipse or something.
So I can't hear.
There was an eclipse.
Yeah, there was a darkness. Bodies came out of the graves. The temple veil was rent. You remember Julius Caesar? Remember the day he was assassinated? His wife Calpurnia had a dream,
Yeah.
and she dreamed that bodies came out of the graves, and there were just crazy things going on. What do you think all those are symbolic of? The
That
death of.
Jesus does, all the other people come back.
Right. What'd you say, Lily?
The death of someone really important.
Right. When an important person dies, it's like the weather, nature reacts to it, which is what's happening here. Will he or nil he? Circle that. That's either gonna be on the test, or I'm gonna have an extra credit.
Where is that?
It's in line, I don't know the line number, it's number 110, 4 lines from the bottom of 110. Ever heard that? Will he or nil he? Have you ever heard the expression willy-nilly? All right, which means haphazardly. So willy or-nilly is a British version of that same expression.
What does it mean?
That means haphazardly. No order, no particular order. You throw a pack of cards down, they don't fall in a stack, they're all over the place in kind of a random order. Chaotic, willy-nilly. All right, number 111, so where are we? We are at Sarah.
The French have fought with valor and success, but scores of thousands lie in corpses spread. 100,000 scarce two will fight again. Quoth the Archbishop, right valiant are men. The like of these hath no lord under heaven. Thus it is written in the Gestes of the French, our emperor's power was never rivaled again. Was never rivaled yet. They searched the field for more, for their maimed and their dead. With grief and sorrow their eyes of them are wet. With love and pity for their kindred and friends, now falls upon them more so with all his strength.
Look at question number 40. What's the evidence that things may be turning badly for the French?
It says,
Now falls upon them more so with all his strength.
He's coming back, yeah. Lily.
By scores and thousands lie painted corpses spread everywhere.
Yeah, and of course, those are the Paynims, but, you know there were Frenchmen that died too, in killing all those men. So, I like what Sarah pointed out, that Marsilian is coming back with more. He has 4 waves of troops, and they just can't sustain this. The word geste, G-E-S-T-E-S, this song is the chanson de Roland, chanson de Roland. But it's part of the chanson de geste. Geste means deeds, heroic deeds.
who's back with more?
Marsilian. So we'll go to Lily, I guess. Yeah, top of page 108, we just read a couple of these. Number 112.
The king still comes riding up a gorge with all his army about him in great force. He has assembled 20 huge battle lords, such a cloth of helm with gems and gold adorned, such shields, such firing with burnished saffron rods. 700 trumpets are sounding new songs. Through all the country the noise of them goes forth. Brother, quoth Roland, friend Oliver, sweet lord, it is our death lost. Galleon hath sworn, with trees with plans, it can be hid no more. The right great vengeance the emperor will let fall, but we must bide a fearful house of war. No man has ever beheld the like before. I shall lay on with daring boldness. You, comrade, wield that great Couteau Claire of yours. In lands, how many have we those weapons borne? Battles, how many victoriously fought? Never shall base ballad be sung up in the hall.
All right, so we learn here, well, at least Roland is clear that Ganelon has betrayed them. It's Roland's fault that they are under attack. It also suggests, things aren't going well anymore for them. And Charlotte, would you read the next one? We'll finish.
Marsley beholds his slaughtered chivalry, he bursts his trumpets and horns sound instantly, and then sets forward with his great company. Then first rides out a Saracen, in all that host was none more vile than he, with evil vice and crime, he died full deed. And Mary's child, God's son, he's no belief, and black he is as melted pitch to see. Better he loves murder and treachery, and all the gold that is in Kelsey. None ever saw him in mirth or jollity, but bold he is and rash to a degree, and for the reason he's loved by King Marcel. He bears a dragon to rally his
Oh, Maynard.
The good Archbishop observed him. Much displeased, he'd like to hit him on sight. That's how he feels. And to himself he says quietly, if Saracen was right to me, it was best for
Better
the
finish.
to go until the beast. I never looked forward to his apologies.
All right, so we thank you. We will pick it up there tomorrow, number 114.